Couple more things about Nick Saban I want to get to here. And I haven't actually told Ron this story, so I'm glad because I held on to this one for a bit. But it does take a little bit of reading because I've always been wild interested about Nick Saban's transition from Michigan State to LSU. And to shorten the story, that's a little complicated, and I might go into detail, when I don't have the guest here to chew up all this, but Michigan State did not treat Nick Saban the way that Nick Saban thought he should be treated. So he apparently wanted that job and was called a merc by the coaching community, which is saying something because coaches are nomads by trade. But Nick had like 9 jobs in 18 years before he left Toledo after 1 year to be defensive coordinator at Cleveland. And up until basically 2007, not 2009, he wanted to be a professional football coach, and that was the thought. But when the Michigan State job came open, he told Belichick that he wanted the job, and Belichick helped him get the job. But check this out. Before hiring Nick Saban, the new president at Michigan State tried to go get Tom Osborne from Nebraska in 94. And that's before Nebraska decided to go win 3 national championships because up until that time, Tom Osborne's teams were good, but they weren't that good. And then 95 Nebraska happened, and Michigan State was on Nebraska's schedule. So Nick Saban got done up by Tommy Frazier and them, which totally missed me. But the thing about the LSU bit that I found exciting are 3 facts I'm going to lay on you, and then I can give you context if you ask. The first one is the LSU media was none too enthusiastic about Nick Saban, so much so that they called your man a Yankee every chance they got, like a slur, like it was profane. The second thing is he inherited that team from Jerry DiNardo, who is an analyst for the Big Ten Network now, and apparently his last year at LSU, 30 of Jerry DiNardo's players had kids, and they were getting pinched for everything from public intox to petty theft. So there was a lot to do on that front. And then my favorite is his first defensive coordinator was John Thompson. And I was like, I don't remember John Thompson coordinate LSU at all. It's because the man lasted 28 days. Ooh. Now, the way that Thompson tells it is Houston Nutt offered him a dream job of being coordinator at Arkansas, so he left. But he also asked Houston Nutt to tell Nick Saban that, he took the job. And Houston said, hell no, you got to tell him yourself. So he goes down to tell him. And right as he's telling him, Nick Saban is chewing him out. And Roy Kramer calls up. Roy Kramer at the time is the commissioner for the SEC. And he is just talking about how dirty this dog is in front of him. And is this how y'all do business in the Southeastern Conference? And I don't think I want any part of this because this is backward. And like John Thompson's really getting kind of scared here because are you ruining my reputation in front of the commissioner of the SEC? Apparently, they don't really talk all that much anymore. But those are 3 facts that I found to be wild interesting about LSU and him getting that job in 2000 because, now we're getting to the part where you and I are paying attention to football, right? Like in a real way.
Right.
So I've always thought of, December 98 going into 99, that's Bob Stoops, right? It just dawned on me that Michigan State had gone 9-2, and Nick Saban left Michigan State to go to LSU. And when the LSU folks asked him why he left Michigan State after going 9-2, he said Michigan. Now, not that he couldn't beat Michigan, but when it came time for the 2 teams that were tied to get a Rose Bowl berth, they went with the brand name, kind of like we do today. Ohio State's going to get the edge over Coastal Carolina, going to get the edge over Cincinnati. And Nick Saban decided, I can't coach against that. I got to go to a place where they at least respect the name on the shirt, and I'll go get the players. And I love that he was that clear about what needed to happen, but he was also very wishy-washy on it. Because, apparently he goes back and forth about whether or not he'd made the right decision. Even so much calling up the Michigan State folks and saying, can I have my job back? I don't know if I like it down here. Which makes him sound like a recruit. Do you get what I'm going here? Nick Saban is just a 5-star kid. That's what it is. He's a 5-star kid. And whoever can lock the door and make sure he doesn't leave until he signs is going to win. Because he did that almost everywhere. Everywhere he left, he was so upset that he had to tell people he was leaving. So much so that he wasn't always enthusiastic about going out there and telling people publicly, I'm no longer the head coach at wherever. He would just kind of show up at the other place. And my goodness, like I read columns, Bitch Album was calling him names. Detroit Free Press called him like a shyster. Like the Toledo Blade was like, yeah, dude doesn't stay anywhere. He just skedaddles. And I was like, wow. So like before LSU, before he won his national championship 2003, that was his moniker. So I'm looking around going, who else fits that today? Who hasn't won a national championship, keeps moving around as a head coach because they see this, oh yeah, Todd Graham. Yeah, Todd Graham does that. Went from Tulsa to like Rice to like Pittsburgh to Arizona State to Hawaii, yada, yada, yada. But also, last thing I'll say on this, and then I want to get your thoughts. Nick Saban promised 3 SEC championships and a national championship inside of 5 years. The only other dude I know of that did something like that was Howard Schnellenberger at Miami. Maybe every coach should just show up and say, I'm going to win a national championship inside of 5 years, because the only 2 times I've heard of it happening has happened.
Yeah. I mean, did Nick say this as part of a thank you for hiring me as your coach? I'm going to go get you 3 conference championships in a natty. Is that what he said, or is that just like in a handshake deal to you've made the right decision?
That was part of his pitch. Yeah, that was part of his pitch. And you're going to love this. The chancellor at LSU at the time was Mark Emmert. You know, the dude running the NCAA now?
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Emmert, apparently, after hearing Nick Saban's pitch, blurted out, how much is it going to take for you to be our head coach? With Saban's agent, Jimmy Sexton, in the room. So much so that the LSU people looked at him and their jaw dropped. And they're like, and this coming from the guy who tells us to take it easy on the budget because we ain't got no money. What are you doing? And then you get the dude next to him and says, all right, so what is the number, Jimmy? And Jimmy says, sheepishly, $900,000. And they said, can we call it 1.1 and get the hell out of here? And then Jimmy Sexton managed to squeeze another $150,000 out of him. So his first contract at LSU was not just $1.25 million a year. It made him the 3rd highest paid coach in college football, behind Bobby Bowden, who had won 2 national championships, and Steve Spurrier, who had won 1. Nick Saban hadn't done a damn thing. And then I've been go ahead.
So this is the beginning of Nick Saban ruining the SEC.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm getting at. So check this out. I'm doing the math on this, right? Because coaches' contracts are always going to be, I guess, just interesting to you and me. He made $18,000 in his first job as a secondary coach at Kent State, 1973. He made $30,000 as a secondary coach at Georgia, at Michigan State, and that's in the early 80s. He got a contract for $135,000 as base salary at Toledo. Oh, no, not Toledo. Let me make sure I wrap this down. I think it was Michigan State. I got to make sure. Hold on just a second. So I want to make sure I get this right. Okay. First coaching job was coaching LBs at Kent State for $18K. 1983, he makes $30,000 coaching DBs at Michigan State. In 1990, his base salary as a head coach at Toledo was $65,000. And then his base salary in 1995 as the head coach at Michigan State was $135,000 and up to $150,000 with bonuses. Then here comes Jimmy Sexton. Jimmy Sexton and Nick Saban changed coaching salaries forever, because until then, you had to win at least a national championship at a major university to get $1 million contract. And that was FU money.
He seemed to have to be the dude that was an institution in and of himself, right?
Right.
Like all of the class, the Bowdens and Paternos and the Mac Browns of the world, right? You're part of the concrete.
Right. Until Jimmy Sexton comes along.
Mm-hmm.
And that's apparently what Nick Saban and Jimmy Sexton have in common. They both are workaholics and they work all the time. And Jimmy had just started getting into representing coaches. Like, he met Nick Saban when Saban was an assistant at Cleveland, and Reggie White was coming through as a free agent to take a look around. And ever since that day, Jimmy Sexton represents the dudes in college football, right? Because Saban also hires away Jimbo Fisher to be his offensive coordinator from Auburn. His agent, Jimmy Sexton. Y'all will know Jimbo Fisher signed a $75 million 10-year contract at Texas A&M upon leaving Florida State. Like, so when you talk about ruin the SEC, ruin everything, right? I mean, think about this. Like, I used to think, inflation and whatnot, when Barry Switzer said, I made $24,000 a year coaching at Oklahoma, winning national championships. That I did the math. It's like $150 a year today. That's what he would have made. So yeah, like, with the television money, with boosters, like, apparently Neil Cornrich was also Saban's agent before Sexton, and he didn't like the way that he handled the Michigan State thing. So when Sexton came along, it was easy for him. But man, like, just thinking about that, in that 2000 contract, in that 2000 team, and then what Saban managed to do with LSU, I think that's a for real watershed moment in the sport that we just overlook.